Welcome back everyone to VeloView. I'm really glad you're here because today we're going to take a deep dive into the all-new 2026 Subaru Outback, a model that has been stirring up conversations everywhere from hardcore Subaru forums to mainstream automotive outlets. Subaru has always had this unique spot in the car market with the Outback. For decades it's been that sweet balance between a family wagon and a rugged adventure vehicle, something you could take to the mountains, haul your gear in, and still drive comfortably every day. But with the 2026 version, Subaru has really pushed it further toward the SUV side of the spectrum, and that change has both excited a lot of drivers and ruffled a few feathers among the longtime fans who love the wagon-like look. Let's break down every part of this car in detail so by the end of this review you'll have the complete picture. The first thing you notice is the design. Subaru has squared off the proportions and raised the roofline about 2 inches, so the vehicle doesn't look like a tall wagon anymore. Instead, it has a much more upright SUV stance, with blocky lines and tougher, more muscular features. That taller roofline isn't just cosmetic either. It opens up the cabin and gives both front and rear passengers noticeably more headroom, something you really feel if you're tall or if you're sitting in the back seat on long trips. Cargo capacity has grown too, by around 2 cubic feet, which doesn't sound like much on paper but in practice it makes packing bulky gear, strollers, or camping equipment just a bit easier. Subaru has clearly aimed this Outback at families and outdoor enthusiasts who want maximum utility without jumping into something massive like a 3-row SUV. Inside, the changes are even more dramatic. Subaru finally addressed one of the biggest complaints about the previous model, the infotainment system. The old Starlink setup was sluggish and clunky, but now the Outback runs on Google's Android Automotive OS with a huge 12.1-inch vertical touchscreen at the center and a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster behind the steering wheel. The interface is fast, intuitive, and integrates Google Maps, Assistant, and app support in a way that feels seamless. If you're used to smartphones, this system feels natural and easy. At the same time, Subaru listened to feedback from owners who wanted simple controls for everyday use. They brought back physical knobs and buttons for the HVAC system so you're not fumbling through screens while trying to adjust the air conditioning. That mix of digital modernity and old-school functionality makes the cabin much more user-friendly. Another area Subaru improved is refinement. Previous Outbacks had a bit of an issue with wind noise, especially at highway speeds. For 2026, Subaru tweaked the aerodynamics and added sound-absorbing material in the roof and headliner, reducing wind noise by about 10%. That doesn't sound huge until you drive it and realize how much quieter the cabin feels. Add to that redesigned seats, which Subaru calls low-fatigue seats, and you've got a car that feels more comfortable on long drives. The seats are mounted in a way that provides better support, keeping you fresh even after hours behind the wheel. The whole cabin is built with higher quality materials than before too, with better trims, stitching, and a more upscale vibe. You can spec it with Nappa leather, ventilated seats, or water-resistant Startex upholstery if you plan on getting muddy and don't want to worry about cleanup. Under the hood, Subaru has kept things familiar, and that's a good thing for people who trust their proven formula. The base engine is still a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter flat-4 that makes around 180 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. For those who want more grunt, the XT trims and the Wilderness Edition get the turbocharged 2.4-liter flat-4 that pumps out 260 horsepower. Both engines are paired with the Lineartronic CVT, which has been tuned to feel a bit more responsive, and of course every Outback comes with Subaru's signature symmetrical all-wheel drive. That's one of the key reasons the Outback has such a loyal following. It just grips in poor weather, on gravel, and in snow like few other vehicles in its class. It's not a sports car, but it is consistent, predictable, and capable, and for a lot of people that's exactly what they want. The technology suite has also leveled up. Every 2026 Outback comes with the newest version of Subaru's EyeSight driver assistance system, but this year they've added more advanced features. Hands-free driving assist now works at speeds up to 85 miles per hour, which is a big step towards semi-autonomous highway cruising. There's also emergency stop assist, which can bring the car to a safe halt if the system detects the driver isn't responding, and active lane change assist, which can guide you into another lane when it's safe. Lane keeping has also been improved, so the car feels more natural when it's making those tiny corrections on the highway. These features don't replace the driver, but they do make long trips less stressful and add a layer of safety that gives peace of mind. For the adventure crowd, the Wilderness trim is the star of the lineup. Subaru really leaned into its reputation here, giving it 9.5 inches of ground clearance, skid plates, beefier bumpers, and unique front and rear designs that improve approach, breakover, and departure angles. The wheels are 17-inch alloys wrapped in all-terrain tires, and the suspension uses electronically controlled dampers that balance comfort with off-road toughness. On top of that, the Wilderness gets roof rails rated to hold up to 800 pounds when the car is parked, meaning you can actually throw a rooftop tent up there and sleep under the stars. Inside, the Wilderness sticks to practical touches with StartX water-resistant upholstery, copper stitching, and optional surround view cameras to help you place the vehicle when the trail gets tricky. It feels like a car made for people who camp, hike, and kayak on weekends but still want a comfortable commuter during the week. Now, the rollout of this 7th-generation Outback is also interesting. Subaru revealed it in spring of 2025, it officially launched in August, and it's rolling into dealerships late in 2025 as a 2026 model. The Wilderness trim follows a little later, arriving in early 2026. Pricing starts in the mid-$30,000 range, with higher trims obviously climbing depending on how much luxury or capability you want. That price point keeps it competitive in a market crowded with crossovers and SUVs, but the Outback's blend of safety, AWD standard, and unique ruggedness sets it apart. Of course, not everyone is thrilled. Longtime fans who fell in love with the Outback's wagon identity aren't all happy with the SUV styling. Some say it looks too much like a Forester or an Ascent and fear it's losing what made it distinctive. On the other hand, many buyers welcome the tougher styling and more space, especially families who might otherwise look at larger SUVs. It's one of those situations where Subaru is trying to broaden appeal without losing its heritage, and whether that balance works or not will depend on how the market responds over the next few years. In the end, the 2026 Subaru Outback is a clear evolution. It's quieter, smarter, safer, more capable off-road, and more spacious than the one it replaces. It hasn't reinvented its engines. But it didn't need to. What it did was modernize the technology, refine the comfort, and double down on its adventurous side with the Wilderness trim. It's a car that still feels at home on dirt trails and in snowy driveways but is also more pleasant on the daily commute. For families, outdoor enthusiasts, and Subaru loyalists who can accept the SUV styling, it's one of the most well-rounded options in its class. That's the full breakdown of the 2026 Subaru Outback, and I hope this review gave you everything you need to know before you see one in person. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you hit that subscribe button because there's a lot more automotive content coming your way here on VeloView.